Well, folks, our spatchcock chicken's marinating. It's resting comfortably. She's gonna go on the grill here probably about 15 minutes or so. While y'all weren't looking, I went and got a skillet, and I heated my skillet up, put oil in there, got it hot, and I grabbed these airline breasts. Y'all remember those, the semi-boneless breast? This has the little wing, first wing bone attached. And we're gonna start those. This is gonna be our Napa style chicken. So, pan's hot. Always make sure to lay food in a pan, hot oil away from you. That way if it splashes away, not on top of. All right, now we're gonna take that pan and we're gonna stick it in the oven. We're gonna let it cook skin side down, probably 8-10 minutes or so. Let that skin get kind of crispy, golden brown and delicious. And the oven's already preheated to 400 degrees. For us, we've also got the fans blowing. It's a convection oven and a little humidity to help browning process. While that's taking place, let's get this up out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. Let's finish prepping up our vegetables. So what do we have? Let's see. Along with the chicken, we're gonna have some garlic. All we need to do is peel it. About 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I got it right. Just like last time, all we're gonna do is take the side of a knife, just kind of break it. That breaks that paper, helps it turn loose of the flesh. And we want to leave these garlic whole as best we can. Peeling garlic is probably one of my least favorite things to do. These great big pork chop hands. Grabbing that 5 and 6. So we have our 6 peeled cloves of garlic. What else do we need? Artichoke hearts, bought them in a can. They're already quartered. How about that? A little white wine. Well, we're in a school. We can't get real wine or good wine. That's something labeled cooking wine. It's not to say, but you know, we're working at high school. We do what we can. Got some chicken broth right there. Now, recipe says we need 1/3 cup heavy whipping cream. Yeah, about that. It's supposed to be a heat index like 100 plus a day. We're trying to lighten this dish up a little bit. We're going to omit the heavy cream and replace it with more chicken stock. Just make it a little lighter dish. That's all. Sun-dried tomatoes packed in oil. Came in a jar from Miss Kroger's. And they're halved. Let's see what we need to do to them. And we'll run a knife through them regardless. So, just kind of lay them all out and work towards making julienne or strips, matchstick size pieces. And keep your fingers back out of the way. Here's the thing about holding food and cutting it. If you tuck those fingernails, and you can rub your knife right there alongside your knuckle and your nail, you can't cut yourself. You can't. If you raise your knife up too high, you can come down on your knuckles. If you let your fingers poke out forward, you can cut your fingers. But as long as you have those fingers tucked, we call it the claw hand. It's not original, but it's effective. As long as you tuck those fingers and keep the knife pretty much in contact with your fingers, you can't get hurt. Well, let's see. We need juice of a lemon. Let's roll it, break some membranes up in it. Didn't say anything about the zest, so we're just going to cut it in half and set her aside. And optional Parmesan cheese. I don't have any out. I'm not going to open a bag in the middle of the summer, have it go bad. We're going to omit the optional. That was everything except my mushrooms. We need 1/2 pound of baby bellas. Well, these are bellas, and that's I think that's 1/2 pound. So How do we want to cut them? Let's see what it says. It's non-specific. I think what we've done in the past, we just quartered them. So that's what we're going to do now. So 3 to 6, 9 to 12. So we've got our artichokes drained, we've got our tomatoes cut, we've got our mushrooms cut, we've got our garlic peeled, we've got our stock and our so-called wine, and we're not using heavy cream because we can. We're not. See how much time we have left on our chicken. A minute. That worked out well. So, y'all give me just a minute. I'm gonna flip this chicken, give it a few more minutes to cook skin side up, bring it back out, and we'll get back to working on it. Well, folks, while y'all weren't looking, I got back in the oven, I flipped our chicken over. Now it's cooking flesh side down where it had been skin side down. And it took a minute, so I also got our marinated chicken over there on the grill. So we're moving right along now. We'll see. We need to pull our chicken breasts out of the pan now. Keep in mind, they're not done. They're just not done yet. They're not cooked through, shouldn't be. But we have other things we need to tend to. And that is these little cloves of garlic. Y'all remember them? Talked about how much I don't like peeling them. They're going into the hot pan. And we're going to use that residual heat from the chicken fat, the olive oil, and the seasoning from all that to kind of cook those little garlics. We'll soften up just a little bit, give them a jump start, then we're going to put our chicken back in. Skin side down. I can hear our grilling chicken saying, come here, check on me, come here, check on me. I will. So our skin side's down on our chicken. Now we're going to add our drained artichokes. And we are going to add our mushrooms. And we are going to add our julienne tomatoes. Now, and our wine. And back in the oven it goes for about 15-20 minutes or so till the chicken gets an internal temperature of 165 degrees. I have this probe that will tell me what the temperature is, which is handy. There we go. Set the probe for 165. I'm gonna go check on our grilled chicken, get this mess cleaned up. Chef Keisha's gonna be back to y'all here in just a minute, start a pot pie, I do believe.
All right, so today we're gonna make chicken pot pie. Who doesn't love chicken pot pie? I think if I had to eat one meat for the rest of my life, I'm pretty sure it would be chicken. There's just so much you can do with chicken. All right, so to start our chicken pot pie, first we need to slice our vegetables. Now, I did cheat a little bit. I've already sliced mine, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna show you how to do it. So, first we need our pot. So, I've got my pot here, and I'm gonna fill it full of a cup of frozen peas. Now, we just got these at the grocery store. So, we're gonna put our peas in there. They're good to go. Now, next we're gonna take our celery. Now, I am not a fan of celery, but that's just me. So, my celery is always cut up very small. So, you just make sure you cut the end and the top off. Now, I usually like to slice mine down the middle, just so I've got smaller bites. And then, you just make sure you cut everything into even sizes. That way, it cooks evenly. So, I've already got my celery all cut up, ready to go. So I'm gonna put it in our bowl as well. So it's ready to go. I'm gonna put this in this bowl so we can add it to our compost for later. And then we also need a cup of carrots. Now, you can work smarter and not harder and get peas and carrots that are already together if you'd like. Or you can get Bugs Bunny's favorite and put it in there and slice it up and do it that way. So, to slice your carrot, you peel all the skin off, wash it real good, cut the top off. If you're a composter, add it to your compost bin. Now, a carrot is round, so it's just going to roll all over my cutting board. So, something you can do with Mr. Carrot here, slice it down the middle, slice it in half, make it flat. So, our carrots that I already sliced, they're in quarters, just makes it a little easier, a little bite size. Just be careful when you cut, make sure again, nice even slices. This carrot, of course, is juicy, so it kind of sticks together. Since I spend most of my time hanging out in the baking world, I'm not quite as quick with the knife, but we get there. Then after you get your carrot sliced down the middle, these are pretty good sized bites. So, I'm just going to take it, rotate it a quarter of a turn, hold on to it, make sure we keep our fingers back. Nobody wants to slice off a finger, and then just cut it in half. Just makes it a little easier. That way our bites are a little better. We've got our peas, our celery, our carrots. We've got all those into our bowl. Then we need our chicken. Now, Chef Ramsay took our chicken earlier and broke it all down for us. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to cube it up. So we've got about a pound of chicken breast, and I'm just going to cube that. You could use chicken thighs if you wanted. Chicken thighs, in my opinion, are usually better flavor, but you could use whatever you prefer. So, I'm just going to cut it up to smaller pieces. So after we get all this, we're going to put it in our pot. We're actually going to cover it with some water. We're going to bring it to a boil. After it comes to a boil, we're going to drain it, and then we will actually work on the sauce for our pot pie. Now, a lot of pot pies have just a top. I like my pot pie to have a top and a bottom. I think the crust is my favorite part of the pot pie. Our pot pie that we're making today is going to have a homemade crust. You can use store-bought, just whatever you prefer. All right. So I've got a fair amount of chicken in there. I'm going to grab our salt and pepper. The recipe doesn't call for this, but it needs some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to cover it with some water, just enough to cover it all. And then I'm going to put it on to start to boil. And then while that's boiling, I'm going to get our pie crust ready. So I'll be right back. All right, so I am going to work smarter, not harder, and use our food processor for our pie crust. So for our pie crust, I'm going to use 1 1/4 cup of flour. I am going to use this measuring cup so I don't make a mess. Then I'm going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put the lid back on. Give it a quick pulse. Oh, maybe. There we are. Wasn't locked in. Maybe. All right, that's just to incorporate our salt with our flour. So now I'm going to use cold butter, just so that way it crumbles into our flour a little better. That way when it melts, when we bake it, it'll leave little air pockets and it'll melt a little better, give us a good flaky crust. So you can also use this recipe for just regular pies. Be really good for that. Like a good pecan pie, cherry pie, apple pie, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to run this until it looks like cornmeal. It'll be the consistency of that. Now, if you didn't have a food processor, you could always just cut it in with a pastry blender with 2 knives, some forks, your hands, but it would look the same. All right, then I'm gonna add in some ice water. There was ice in here, it's just melted. I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons. Recipe calls for between 2 and 4. It may need a little more than that. It's a little warm in here today. So we're gonna start with 2, see how that does. So we're starting to get a little bit of a dough. Take this lid off here. So we're starting to get a little bit of a dough here, but not a whole lot just yet. So I'm gonna add another tablespoon. Remember, less is more. You can always add more water. So start with 1 tablespoon. All right, so it's starting to get clumpy again, but not quite there. Oh, I thought I was going to need another one, but it doesn't look like it. All right, that fast, and we have dough. So this one doesn't require to be refrigerated, so this one's actually good to go. So I'm gonna step over and check our chicken and our vegetables. So give me like 30 seconds. All right, they're not boiling yet, so we're good to go. All right, so now I'm gonna take it and fit it in my pie pan. You can use a disposable, you can use ceramic, just whatever works best for you. So you always want to flour your surface. That way, whatever dough you're working with doesn't stick. So I'm going to kind of knead this a little bit more, just to make sure it comes together real nice. So if for some reason you wanted to chill this dough before you used it, which you could do, something good to do is before you wrapped it in plastic wrap is to kind of pat it out into a disc. I made the top before, so it's already in a disc form. Because when you roll it out, you're going to roll it into a disc, about 1/4 inch thick. So if it's already in a disc, it'll make it a little easier when you go to roll it out. So I try to make sure the top and bottom are coated because I'm going to be rolling on the top. So always start in the middle, apply even pressure, roll away, and then to you. Now since we're making pie dough, I always like to take and rotate it 1/4 turn. And then do the same again. So you always have to make sure that your dough is bigger than your pie tin. So you just keep rotating it. Sometimes you gotta kind of swoop it around in the flour. That way it doesn't stick. Now you can buy a silicone mat that will tell you how big you need to roll it, or you can just use your pie tin. It'll do the same thing. So when you think you've gotten it to the size you need, you can just take your pie tin and turn it upside down. So the sides aren't as big as I need, so I need to keep rolling. A little more flour on top. Kind of stuck right there in the middle. Pull that to the side. Work that around. Now you can feel on your dough where it's thicker, so you can work the thickness out in thicker spots. Now this dough isn't a perfect circle, so I'm going to have to repair some of it and move it around when it comes that time. But this is the bottom, so it's not a huge deal. All right, so we're almost there. So our sides here are good. So now it's pretty much just the top and the bottom. But what you've got to remember is that your dough has to go on the bottom and then up the sides as well. I'm gonna roll this up here. Some of that down there. We're sticking a little bit more than I prefer. All right. If I roll it much thinner, it's going to be like paper. I'm starting to see the lines in the table. So then it's just going to be super thin and it's going to tear. So now how do I get it from here to there? I could pick it up, but I risk the risk of it tearing. So I'll show you a trick. So if you take your pie crust and you roll it onto your rolling pin like this, kind of roll it onto itself, and then you take your pie pan, pick up your pie crust. So now I can transport this wherever I need it to go. And then I take it and I can just roll it right over my pie pan. So I'm a little short here, but I'll show you how to fix that. So start here. You want to make sure you push your pie crust into the edges, into the grooves of your pan. With the chicken pot pie, you want to make sure you try to use a deeper pan. That way it can hold all the goodness of our pot pie. So we've got our crust down. We're in the grooves of our pan here. And then we've got all this excess. So just going to kind of run my fingers around the edge. You can use a knife. It will do the same thing. Now, if we were making like an apple pie or a cherry pie, you would want to shape the edges of your pie crust. But we're actually going to seal the top of this with another crust. So we're not going to do a whole lot of that fancy stuff today. So I'm just going to take a piece of my excess dough. I'm going to lay it over the part that had the tear. Now this piece over here isn't as big of a deal because it's up on the edge, but you can do the same thing here. So you can use your excess for any places that rip or tear. All right, so our bottom crust is done. We've got extra here. We'll have extra when we do the top. I'm gonna go check our vegetables. They should be just about finished. If not, we'll come back after they get finished and we'll go on to the next step. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so our vegetables and our chicken is finished. I went ahead and I drained it, so it's gonna hang out over there. So next we are going to melt 3/4 of a cup of butter. I'm gonna take it over and do that here in just a second. Then we also have to dice up an onion to add to our roux we're gonna make. So we're gonna dice up an onion. We need I lost my onion on my paper. We need 1/3 of a cup of an onion. So the easiest way to chop an onion is you chop off the bottom, you leave the root intact, you cut the half of the root. That way you're not crying like a baby. You take your cutting board, you pull it to the end of the table. You take your onion, you bring it to the end of your cutting board. You take your knife, you run it along the same direction as your cutting board once, and then you do it again a little higher. So you've done it twice now. Then you do a 1/4 turn of your onion. Give it a couple slices, not to the root, because then it won't hold your onion together. And depending on how close you make these together, will depend on how small your dice is. You turn your onion back parallel with your cutting board, and then you just dice away. So, and there you have a super quick and easy diced onion. So I'm going to take our onion, our butter, salt, pepper, celery seed, flour, chicken broth, and milk over to our burner and make our roux. Then we'll come back, we'll add our chicken and vegetables to our pie crust, and then we'll add our gravy to that. We'll take our pre-made crust that I made earlier today, we'll roll it out, we'll put it on top, and then we'll get it put in the oven and get it baked. So we can have some chicken pot pie. So I'm gonna get our roux made. I'll bring it back so you guys can see it and check it out, and then we'll get everything put together. So that'll take probably about 7 minutes is about how long it takes. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to make a roux. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. So we have our chicken and with our vegetables, and it will go in first. So we're going to take it, we're going to pour it in, smooth it out. So this is what our gravy-ish stuff looks like. I'm not really sure what to call it. So we're just going to pour it over the top. Going to kind of move it around, make sure we get some everywhere here. All right. I'm going to slide my pie pan up here. Reflour my surface, because now we have to make a top for the pot pie. Because what good is a pot pie without a top and a bottom? I mean, that's my favorite part of the pot pie. You know, all the good carb parts. Who needs the, you know, protein and all the vegetables, this part that's good for you. Now the you know, sauce is usually good. Let it absorb into the bread, into the crust. So this was the disc I had talked about when I had made this crust earlier. It just makes it a little easier to shape. So it is a little hard from where it had been in the fridge from earlier. So I'm just kind of pressing it out a little bit, work it out a little. Turning it as I do. And And of course, if you use refrigerator dough, it's already ready to go. So, another dough that's good to use is like crescent rolls, because they're good and flaky. Or biscuits, those would be good. So the same thing for this one. You just roll the edge up, roll it on there. Now when you use your pie pan this time, it will be hot because our contents are hot. Yeah, that one rolled really well. So this one's a little harder to do, since you're just kind of feeling it to see where it is. So you kind of want to put one hand under the pie crust so you can feel where the pie crust is, or feel where the pie pan is. And the other hand you can use to kind of hold the pie crust down. And then after we get the extra removed, we're going to have to cut some vents. So that way the steam that will be escaping our pot pie has somewhere to go. So it will escape through our vents. So that's just kind of giving it the shape that you usually see when you go to the store. You could vent it with cookie cutters if you wanted to draw little shapes in it. I'm just going to put a big X in the middle of mine. You can't smell it, but that smells really good. So, we vented our pie. We're going to put it in the oven at 425 for about 30 minutes, and then we'll pull it out and we'll see how our pot pie looks. So, we'll be back when it's finished.
All right, folks, our last chicken dish, and it's called crispy and sticky chicken with smashed potatoes and tomatoes. It's a mouthful. It's just chicken, tomatoes, and potatoes. So what we have, we've got our boneless thighs. I've already fried those up. They're mostly done, golden brown and delicious. We've got some pre-cooked new potatoes. We've got a handful of tomatoes here. First thing we need to do is get the skins off these tomatoes. You do that with a knife and a pot of hot water. Now, that's boiling water. I just took it off the heat. What we're going to do is, we're not cooking our tomatoes. No, we're just with a process called blanching. It's the start of a cooking process, but it doesn't finish this way. So blanching we do for several different reasons. For our tomatoes, it loosens the skins so we can get them peeled up. Do you have to peel them? Nope. Are they better if you do? I think so. We do a classic cut in class called a concasse. A concasse is tomatoes that are peeled, seeded, and then diced. We're not going to that extent here. We're just getting them peeled, probably cut them in half. They're pretty good sized tomatoes. They're just little Romas. Came from the grocery store this morning. When we put all this together, again, the blanching process, I got ahead of myself. For what we're doing here is just loosen the skin on the tomatoes. I've been told you can do the same thing with peaches. I don't know, I don't peel peaches. I've not done it. Blanching also we do for green vegetables, particularly I would say green beans, asparagus, broccoli, something like that, just to fix that nice bright color. So we want to leave it in the hot water long enough to loosen the skin. You know that is happening when you pick them up and you can see where you made that slit on the end, it starts to loosen up. We're not quite there yet. Again, green beans, asparagus, broccoli, it fixes that nice bright color. And if you're going to freeze produce, often blanching is the first step before you actually go to the freezing process. But this is going to come together with our chicken. our potatoes, our tomatoes, and we're gonna make basically something like a little pesto with some oregano, touch of garlic, a little bit of vinegar, and the recipe says olive oil. And I was looking at it, and that didn't make much sense because the oil that I browned the chicken in already has chicken flavor to it, already has seasonings to it. I think we're just gonna use it instead of the olive oil. So, see if we can get these tomatoes peeled. So it comes out of the hot water, ideally boiling water. I don't have a heat source over here, I had to carry it over. Then it goes into an ice bath. That ice bath stops the cooking process because we don't want cooked tomatoes, we just want peeled tomatoes. Let's see if we can get them peeled now. Yep. There we go. Let's move these over out the way and I can peel on the cutting board. Now the concassé cut I made mention, it's what we're doing right here plus a couple extra steps. It's a fine dining event, you're dealing with, you know, the tomato skins sometimes get a little bitter. Seeds can often get bitter. Some folks have a problem digesting tomato seeds. So there's a reason for the steps we're taking. For us, it's just that the tomato's a little bit sweeter with the skin gone. It's an opportunity for it to cook down a little bit more. And it's gonna be good eats. Slow eats, it's not fast food. Everything we've done today has taken a minute. But, so, we have potatoes, we have tomatoes, we have a mess. We have our chicken. Now, the potatoes are cooked mostly. The chicken's cooked mostly. The tomatoes just have to heat up. So this dish should not take near as long as most of what we've done today. Oh, get a little salt and make them taste good. So, that's our meal itself. Now we need to come up with this pesto of sorts. And what I have in my mortar and pestle is a little bit of oregano, a touch of salt, and we're adding some garlic. Now y'all saw me peel and chop garlic earlier. I really didn't think you would sit through that again. It goes to me complain about having to peel garlic again. I don't like doing it. Now, if you have fresh oregano for this, all the better. It's a fairly strong flavor, oregano is, but the brightness, the herbaceousness of the fresh stuff cannot be matched with the dry. I have to have dry. Yeah, we're doing what we're doing. Now we need, according to the recipe, 1/4 cup. Is that what it says? Oil, just says olive oil. 4 tablespoons, that's 1/2 cup, extra virgin olive oil. We're not gonna do that. We could, if you want to, you can. We have this oil that we cooked our chicken in. It's got chicken in the oil. It's seasoned already, it's good to go. So 2, 3, 4, and a little bit. Tablespoons. Chef Pitt, would you mind to hand me up a 1/4 sheet pan? I forgot to grab it. So we're going to take our sauce, our pesto, whatever you want to call it, just gets poured over top. Yes, ma'am, please. Stir to coat. Thank you, ma'am. Lay it out on a sheet pan. And back into the oven, get a little color on it. Again, everything, the chicken's 3/4 of the way cooked through. The potatoes are 5, 6, or good Lord, nearly finished. So all we gotta do is get a little color on it. What's this say? Bake for about 10 minutes. Now, Had I put the vinegar in the mortar pestle as I was supposed to have, it would have made more of a salad dressing. I think we're going to be okay. I think. If you don't like it, I'll eat it. And it's in the oven, nice and hot. Then it's done. Easy. Ooh, this pie looks good. I don't think you're going to need those last 10 minutes, Chef Ben. Also, while y'all weren't looking, I took our airline breast. That would be our Napa style chicken. Added the stock to it. Reduced it. Intensified the flavors. Checked it for a season. It's not too bad. About all that's left is add our lemon juice to it and keep it warm for service. Y'all want to see a little trick? If you don't have great big pork chop hands nor a lemon squeezer or juicer, this is what you can do. Get that lemon seed out before you forget about it first. Get you a pair of tongs, just like this. Put your lemon in the tongs, just like this, and squeeze. Get you a big handle, bunch of leverage. How about that? Or get a lemon juicer. So this just needs to be held for service. We don't want to get it cold. I think we're going to like it. Grilled chicken stuck. Not a happy camper. Skin stuck on the grill. That's what it is. It happens. Pot pie just coming out. And the crispy thighs, just a couple minutes. We're almost ready to make some plates. Well, folks, there you are. Today, bird was the word. So we've got our airline breast in the style of Napa. We've got boneless, skinless breast done as a pot pie. That looks good. We've got my grilled chicken that stuck to the grill. And, well, I went ahead and sliced it anyway. Couldn't set it out there the way it looked. That's not a whole bunch better. It's a little bit better. And last but not least, we've got our boneless thighs with potatoes and tomatoes, a little oregano pesto. So, chicken's fairly cheap. It's easy to work with. Clearly, it's versatile. No reason to not to. So, thanks y'all for visiting. Chef Keish is in the back working on dishes. We got to get our mess cleaned up. I had to go help. But stop by and see us again. Remember, if you have any catering needs, give us a call. Over at the Early College and Career Center, our kids self-sustain the pathway through our catering operation. So we'd love to talk about your projects. Folks, y'all do have a good day. We'll see you soon.